We tend to view the top of the corporate ladder as the ultimate career finish line, a world of massive paychecks, corporate jets, and absolute authority over a global domain. But after interviewing more than 1,000 chief executives, author Adam Bryant noticed a strange pattern. On paper, the daily reality of a modern CEO is actually a job that nobody in their right mind would ever want. By the time a problem makes it to the chief executive's desk, the obvious, easy answers have already been exhausted. Every choice made at this level is a compromise that will inevitably anger a large faction of people. The C-suite functions as a heavy psychological burden, demanding constant responsibility for decisions that offer no clear path to universal approval. For decades, leadership was a straightforward militaristic model, where power flowed strictly from the top down. The post-pandemic landscape fractured that pyramid. With the Great Resignation, the workforce began pushing demands back up, dissolving the structure into a scattered map of competing expectations. While internal structures are shifting, trust in public institutions is also waning. When governments fail to address large-scale social and environmental problems, the public looks for the next most powerful entity with the resources to act. Consequently, these massive societal issues are rolling right past the front doors of government and landing at the entrance of the corporation. Society is now demanding that CEOs solve problems they were never originally hired to fix. This expansion of responsibility has officially killed the old playbook. The job has mutated into a challenge that is far more complex than any previous generation of leadership had to face. Surviving this era requires writing a new playbook in real time, one built entirely on the ability to navigate contradictions. This tension model maps a leader's reality. First, exhibit compassion while enforcing strict accountability. Next, drive urgency while maintaining strategic patience. Finally, foster an inclusive culture while remaining direct about core values, keeping these forces suspended in dynamic equilibrium. Mastering this psychological balance is the only way a leader can process modern corporate demands without burning out. To maintain that balance, you need specific survival skills. The first is the ability to absorb global chaos and synthesize it into something useful. It is tempting to put on blinders and focus only on your own industry, but navigating this landscape requires keeping your eyes open to the complex world moving outside your office walls. You then have to take all that external complexity and boil it down into a single, simple message that every employee can understand. The second tool is active listening, a strategic mechanism for demonstrating respect. You might ultimately go in a different direction than what your team suggests, but people are much more likely to follow you if they feel their opinions were heard. This isn't just a soft skill, it is a tactical necessity. Establishing that baseline of respect is the only way to ensure your team remains aligned when you have to make a highly unpopular call. Entering the C-suite shifts an executive from a position of relative safety to one of ultimate liability. You are signing up for absolute accountability. The buck stops with you, not just for your individual actions, but for the collective failures of the entire organization. Bearing this enormous level of responsibility requires making massive personal sacrifices and accepting relentless trade-offs in your private life. Ambition alone isn't enough to sustain someone in this role. It requires a specific, unusual psychological wiring to withstand the 24/7 pressure of the crown. Now that the initial illusion of status has been replaced with the grueling reality of the job, the final question remains: is the corner office still a prize worth the sacrifice?